Hello and welcome to Fit2Box channel. Please like and subscribe and don't forget to jab that notifications bell for all my latest uploads. Today me and Damien are going to be discussing the scoring for the Lomachenko and Lopez fight and the difference between the scores that people was getting. It was really wide. Some people saying that it was sort of a lot of rounds, that it was Lopez, and then other people coming out and saying it was a draw. So I did a video to the camera about who I thought would win. I thought Lomachenko would win, and then as soon as I watched the fight I did an immediate reaction video whereby I sort of went through the rounds as to what I initially thought straight away, having watched it for the first time and been blown away by the fact that Lomachenko in my eyes was dominated by Lopez and had no answers. So now we're going to have a look and see why some people got it as a draw. Now Damien, who's a very good friend of mine, he contacted me on the day and he sort of indicated that he thought it was either a draw or...
Yeah, 7-5, 115, 113 Lopez. I watched it initially, had Lopez winning 7-5, which was a 1-1-5, 1-1-3. Watched it again, a little trick to do sometimes when you're watching fights because you can get influenced by commentary. Watch it with in mute, take the sound off, so you're just seeing the action as it is. And I scored that one a draw, 1-1-4, 1-1-4.
Okay, so I couldn't see how it was a draw, and Damien obviously saw it was sort of much closer than I did. So, and we wasn't alone. Looking online, the video that I put on, some people come on and said I totally disagreed with what I said, and other people said, yeah, I got it spot on. So we're going to go through the rounds and the swing rounds, which are the difference between where the scoring is coming. So let's just go through. Now, I would say that some had it wide, some had it a draw. Very few, I think, had Loma winning.
No.
No one agreed with Julie Lederman's ridiculous score of 119 to 109, 10 rounds to Lopez. Yeah. Chris Algieri, he had it 7-5 Lopez, and he was one of the commentators on the Fight app that I was watching. Damien, you caught it on ESPN's coverage, yeah. And Andre Ward, he had it 1-1-4, 1-1-4. He had it a draw. So you can see the big swing in the actual scores. So it boils down to 3 swing rounds. Now we've looked into it. Round number 2, a swing round. So that means that where I might have given it to Lopez, Damien, you gave that to Lomachenko. Round 7, a swing round where people was either giving it one way or the other. And then round number 12, another swing round where some saw it as Lopez finishing strong and others saw it that Lomachenko had just carried on with sort of the previous rounds where he was getting the better of Lopez. So let's just go through the scores in terms of the judges. So Judge 1, Steve Weisfield, he had it 117 to Lopez, 111 to Loma. So he had it by 6 rounds, same as myself, and the score of 9 rounds to 3 Lopez. Then we got on to, obviously, Julie Lederman's card, which was absolute rubbish, so we'll move on from that one. And then we go on to the last one, which was Tim Cheatham. He had it 116 to 112 Lopez. That's 8 rounds to 4 Lopez. Now some had it 7-5 in terms of the rounds. Now I had it 9 rounds to 3 for Lopez on that first watch. I think I was a bit giddy, I probably was a little bit sleepy. So I watched it again, as Damien says, without the sound on. I was a little bit out on round 8, I don't know what happened there. But actually, having watched it with the sound off, I wouldn't disagree with an 8-4 or a 7-5. I didn't think it was a draw, and I didn't think that Lomachenko won. But with you, Damien, just talk me through your scorecard.
Yeah, I'm having Lopez taking the first round, I had Lomachenko taking the second. A few good combinations there that for me just stole the round. Then I had a very dominant phase for Lopez, rounds 3 through round 7. So the round 7 flip round I had Lopez, so I had 5 straight rounds for Lopez, making it 6 rounds to 1 at the end of round 7. But then initially when I watched it, I had Lomachenko winning rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, very dominant rounds. Again, he was dominant again in the 12th, but I thought Lopez did enough initially watching it, certainly from the commentary, that he was countering very well, good counter punches, and was really digging in deep and holding his own. He wasn't getting dominated like he did the previous 4 rounds, as I thought. So that made it 7-5 Lopez, a 1-1-5, 1-1-3 scorecard. Watching it again with the sound off, without the sort of the bias of the commentary, I just thought that Lomachenko did carry on to press and got some good combinations through. Even though that Lopez throughout the fight threw more punches, I thought that Lomachenko's quality, when he did throw, was far better. And the CompuBox backed that up to some extent. The percentages of punches thrown from rounds 8 onwards, it was near 50% every round. Whereas Lopez is looking at around 25 to 30%. So that round was the swing round for me. So watching it again, I gave Lomachenko round 12, which tied it up as a 6 rounds apiece, 1-1-4, 1-1-4.
So from my point of view, I think I was expecting a lot more from Lomachenko, and I wasn't expecting as much from Lopez. So as the rounds went by, even though, as Damon said in round 2 there, that he got Lomachenko winning that round, I was thinking he's just not doing enough, he's not throwing enough. And the overall feel of the fight for me was the fact that Lopez was in control of the fight, and that he was the one that was forcing the fight. And Lomachenko, certainly for the first 7 rounds, in my opinion, did not do enough activity. Now, it has come out since, because Lomachenko, he sort of stormed out did he storm out or did he walk out?
He just walked out.
He just walked out. I was being dramatic when I said he stormed out, but he didn't do his after fight interview.
No.
So he walked out. He would normally have done an after fight interview, but he normally wins. So he walked out. And then he's come out now and he said he had a severe shoulder injury.
Yeah, there's photos of him all in hospital after he's had some rotator cuff problems, his right shoulder. There's photos have been released of him in hospital bed, all strapped up and whatever else, etc., etc. And it looks like he shouldn't have really taken the fight. I think the weeks leading up to the fight, he was having severe problems with his shoulder, but he battled through now. To me, I don't like things like that coming out after fights. You either fight on the night and you're fit to go. If you're not good to go, you don't fight.
Yeah. So is it sort of a ready-made excuse, or was it legitimately stopping him performing how he normally performs? Now, I would say that was a very different Lomachenko to what everyone was expecting. I mean, certainly how he fought, say, against Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell would have beat that version of Lomachenko, in my opinion. And he didn't meet that version of Lomachenko, he met a much better version of Lomachenko. So I think at the end of this, just to sort of sum up, is, there's online always goes mental with opinions. Some it's just like opinion and you can have a good debate with people about what you think. Others are just abusive, we just tend to just ignore them. But in terms of the fight, what people are looking for, whether it was the quality or whether it was the volume of Lopez, the quality of Lomachenko, or the defence that Lomachenko was doing. Obviously there was a lot of punches by Lopez, a lot of missing by Lopez, which gave the impression that he was forcing the fight. But ultimately, Lomachenko's defence, some of the punches that looked like they were landing, when you looked, there was catching them. And from me, I'm a very defensive fighter. Normally I love that, if you can make miss, and then come back with your own, you're still winning the fight. But I didn't judge it like that, because I think I was just taken up by the fact that Lopez had imposed his will. That's how I would describe it. He imposed his will on the fight. I didn't like some of the stuff that he said before the fight. I think he was disrespectful. I didn't like some of the stuff he said after the fight. I think, again, disrespectful. These people that saying that Lomachenko was never the fighter that people thought he was, what a load of rubbish. The guy is a genius. He's changed the game. I can see people in the gym doing stuff and trying to copy stuff that Lomachenko does. I would never turn around and say that guy is not the fighter that people thought he was. And I think the shoulder injury does explain quite a lot there. Now, should he come back? Because bearing in mind, Lopez was a lot bigger than him in the ring, and I think that was a factor. But does he get his shoulder fixed and come back and try and get the rematch? Because there isn't a mandated rematch.
No, not at all.
Does he come back and go for the rematch against Lopez, put it right, or does he go down in weight and dominate in those divisions that is his weight?
I think personally the option will be taken from him. I think that with Bob Arum in control of Lopez, I think they'll be chasing, is it Devon Haney?
Right, yes.
To unify the division. I think Lopez will destroy him, Haney.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think he's a far better boxer. Maybe that's what Lomachenko's issue was at the start of this fight, because Lopez is known, from what I've seen of him, more of a puncher, not so much a boxer. Maybe Lomachenko, if it's not this shoulder injury, this is an excuse. He just came out very, very slowly. We're just sort of testing the water, just putting a few feelers out, maybe being not say afraid, but very respectful of Lopez's power, not trying to jump in too soon and get caught with something. Once you sort of figured things out, you then put the pressure on from round 8 onwards. I think, to be honest, the option will be taken from him of being able to have a rematch. I think Lopez will go for unification with Haney. I think Lomachenko won't have the option to chase because it's not contractual, and he'll go down and dominate. Yeah. I think he was too small in that fight.
Yeah. So I think early on, Lomachenko, whether it landed or not, I think he felt the power of Lopez and the size of Lopez, and I think they put him in a bit of a shell for a few rounds, because as far as I was concerned, the first 7 rounds he was giving it away. He was giving it away. I know people obviously are saying about the swing round being number 2 and then number 7, but in my eyes he was sort of just a little bit too tentative, and I was thinking whether or not he was thinking, you know, this guy has got such power, and we have seen those knockout reels where Lopez has literally sparked them out. One punch finishes. Yeah. So you think Lomachenko will come back as long as his shoulder's okay?
I think he will, but I think he'll drop down. Just a point there that Simon made about the comments coming out about Lomachenko, and some people saying that Lopez has finally exposed Lomachenko for what he is. I've never heard such rubbish. Yeah. If you can do what you can do, Rigondo and Linares are phenomenal boxers, and if Lomachenko can make those guys quit and do that to them, he's not been exposed. He's just either had an injury that he shouldn't have fought, or he's just been very tentative and then got slowly just sort of figured things out and then put the pressure on late.
Or the weight he's just got up one division too much.
Maybe it's just a little bit too far, but there's no way that Lomachenko has been exposed for being some sort of a fraud or whatever else.
No, definitely.
He's a world-class quality boxer that has changed the game.
Yeah, 100%. So, do you think he should retire?
No, he's 32. Unless this is serious, this injury, and it causes problems and further layoffs, because I think it was almost a year he's been out there. When did you fight Campbell?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think how long it's been. I think he's been inactive. So if the injury causes further inactivity, the years will pass him by and it'll be too late. I think if he's injury free and drops down, he could have another 3-4 years dominating the division down below. I think that's what I would do if I was him. But
absolutely. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. Interesting to see how the shoulder injury goes, and be interesting to see how Lopez now moves on from that, because he shocked the world. Nobody really thought. I know that as always happens, is people after the fact start saying, "Oh yeah, I said that would happen." Really easy to do. But you know what we like to do is we like to say it ahead of time. If we get it wrong, we get it wrong. If we get it right, then probably been lucky, really, to be fair. Because even after all this time of watching boxing, and the fascinating thing about boxing is, you know, in these pick-em fights, there's so many different variables to take into consideration, and one variable that I didn't consider was the fact that Lomachenko might have been injured. I never thought that would be the case. Anyway, it's good to sort of chew the fat over them, to sort of see why people was getting so bent out of shape between it being so wide on some scorecards and so close on other scorecards. But it literally was those 3 swing rounds. If you had it one way, you could easily say it was a draw. If you had those same 3 rounds the other way, you could easily have 6 rounds for Lopez. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit to Box channel, and I shall speak to you soon.